High school romances. When hormonal teens, every thought turns towards mashing their genitals against another, hopefully willing partner. Working on mysteries without any clues, driving home in your dad's car in the fog bank of funny new smells, and wondering if you've permanently ruined the upholstery. The drunken leprechaun helping you out because granting your every wish will help free him from the beer bottle that he's trapped in. Oh wait, that last one's a very specific situation for the protagonist in today's feature, 1990's Getting Lucky, a craptastic chronicle about a recycling reject and the not quite a genie in a bottle who's trying to help him get a little something something. So will this pukish picture show be our pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Let's get after me Lucky Charms, aka the Sleaze Docket. We have 0 dead bodies, 1 ounce blood, 2 cups spoiled milk, 10 milliliters female arousal fluid. But it appears to be a lot more. 6 naked breasts, 5 naked butts, 2 naked bajingos, slow motion cheerleader upskirtery, dirty talkin' coach cliche, foreign exchange student cliche, spilled milk cold shower cock blockery, parental cock blockery, drive-in cock blockery, ecologically mindful protagonist, incredibly underpowered genie magic, drive-in gropin', drive-in cuckoldin', gratuitous condom failures, self-inflicted tennis racket beatdown, self-inflicted tennis racket sodomy, mini golf date montagery, 1 magical pussification, dude gets turned into a cat, National Geographic porn, miniature ride in girls' panties, geography class orgasm, cheerleader locker room strip down, 1 all cheerleader shower, miniature soapy shower ride, 1 paddlin' principal, 1 trash cleaning date, 1 chicken fisting, 1 really out of place barbarian, shish kebab fencing, 1 handcuffed bride, and multiple made up end credit names. Our story is all about Bill, a lonely high school student who's got a major crush on Chrissy with a K. She's the cute blonde cheerleader who doesn't even notice Bill, especially when hunky 30-year-old high school student Tony is constantly fumbling up under her skirt. Bill's like a lot of us when we were a teen, broke as shit. So he spends a lot of his time scrapping any recyclable items for spare change. Eventually he hopes to save up enough money to go to college. My, how times have changed, huh? I mean, can you even imagine a world in which higher education could conceivably be paid off by returning garbage? Maybe outside of the United States, but that ain't where we're at in this story. One day he stumbles across a very strange beer bottle that just won't stay thrown away. Turns out there's a leprechaun stuck inside.
I'm only 1,257 and a half years old. I'm too young to die.
His name is Lepke, and he's trapped until he can grant someone 3 wishes. Unfortunately for Bill, Lepke's not exactly an expert in the magical ways, and his wish-granting powers fail more often than not. In fact, Bill gets 5 actual wishes, since he's given a couple do-overs, plus a couple of magical freebies to save his ass. Literally in one case. Along the way, we get the stereotypical jock meathead antagonist named Tony, who's only interested in scoring with Chrissy, but just can't manage to seal the deal. At one point, Lepke gets sick of watching Bill get pushed around and enchants Tony's tennis racket. It smacks him around for a while before forcefully inserting itself up Tony's rectum. At one point, Bill sees Tony heading towards Chrissy's house and makes a wish to become a cat so he can keep an eye on her.
Exeter flexeter, boom diddy dat. Change my friend Bill into a free tat.
Not exactly the smartest plan, but I suppose borrowing someone's cat for one afternoon of shooting made for an extremely simple effect. But it turns out he was correct and Tony shows up. He ignores all of Chrissy's no's and then Bill pounces. Kind of. And Mom comes home and calls the police. I mean, what exactly did Bill do here? He pounces, and Mom walks in about 1 second later to put a stop to the whole thing. I suppose it's to show his heart was in the right place, but this scenario plays out exactly the same even if you completely remove the cat. I have to go on record here by saying that this is hands down the strangest Troma movie I have ever seen. Typically when you see the Troma cityscape, you hunker down and prepare for some batshit crazy cinema. But this one doesn't really feel like Troma at all. It's not particularly over the top or hilariously bad or anything. This one's just slow-paced cringe and bad acting. Until the shrinking segment, that is. See, at one point Bill is trying to fix Chrissy's bike so they can ride to school together. The wrench he's using is too big, so he blows a wish asking for Lepke to make it smaller. Unfortunately, Lepke's aim is off and he ends up shrinking Bill and himself instead. He's now so small, Chrissy can't see or even hear him, so she just rides off to school, upset and wrongfully thinking that Bill ditched her. But he's a lot closer than she thinks, because when he shrank, he landed on the bike seat. Which means Chrissy just sat on him. That's right, folks. Bill's about to get into Chrissy's panties. Literally. Dude almost suffers death by snoo-snoo 11 years before Futurama even made that reference. And for almost 9 minutes of film, we get to watch him climbing through her secret garden. She goes to class and he tries climbing out of his cotton prison, but just ends up giving her a squirming, moaning orgasm right in the middle of a very enthusiastic history lesson. Later in the day, Chrissy heads off to cheerleading, and Bill's still riding the cotton hammock. And since cheerleading was always an after-school activity, does that mean Bill's been down under this entire fucking day? Eventually, the cheerleaders head into the obligatory teen comedy shower scene, and Bill gets hosed out of Chrissy's short and curlies. He almost washes down the drain, but is saved when French exchange student Babette drops the soap. He climbs aboard just in time to get a sudsy scrub all over Babette's dirty pillows. Finally, Lepke's able to reverse the wish, and Bill seems to suddenly appear in the girls' shower. So after this, we get a little bit of Dawson's Creek teen drama over Bill's supposed voyeurism, but it's practically over before it even starts, so really, what's the point? We then cut to Tony, who's in police custody with a shitty Miami Vice knockoff. See? He tells them that Bill has to be a drug dealer because he's been seen talking into a beer bottle and just bought himself a Pinto even though he's supposedly unemployed. Which, as we all know, is the vehicle of choice for all drug dealers. I mean, if you ever see a Pinto on the street, you'd be ridiculous to not think the driver has an illicit pharmacy in the trunk. Apparently, Tony's cutting a deal to get his rape charges dropped by turning informer in a separate crime that doesn't exist. And I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. So after another shitty date with Chrissy, Bill finally pulls his head out of his ass and wishes for money, which is technically wish number 5 at this point, but it's finally one that works without any cock-ups. And apparently that fulfilled Lepke's side of the deal, but he's still trapped in the bottle, and Bill mails it to Ireland. That night, he and Chrissy go sit out under the stars and work out whatever drama they had surrounding the shower incident. Finally, Bill drops this line.
Will you marry me?
Yeah.
Whoa, what the fuck? These two have barely had any time together and he's already proposing? And she says yes? Okay, we're going to take a time out here for another edition of douchey philosophical debate that no one asked for. Now, as far as I can figure it out, the whole reason these two think it's a good idea to get bonded in holy mattress money is because he wants to be a doctor and she suddenly feels like getting into the medical world too. And after college, they would like to move to an area that needs more medical assistance and open up their own clinic.
And after we raise a family, we decided we wanted to open up a clinic somewhere. Somewhere where they really need one.
Somewhere besides Beverly Hills.
Fine. All well and good. What the fuck does being married have to do with any of that? I mean, I fully admit I was a pretty young clown back in 1990 when this movie came out, but I'm pretty damn sure being married was not a prerequisite to opening up a medical clinic. Here's what I think is really going on. Bill is a pathetic, nerdy human who finally got a taste of pussy. How could he not? He spent an entire day inside a giant pair of panties, smuggled up against a giant vagina. Relatively speaking, of course. That was his first sexual experience. How do you even have a normal sex life after that? I mean, think about your very first sexual encounter with another human being. I'm willing to bet you were so hyper-focused on every little detail that you have quite a vivid memory of it. Doesn't matter if it was good, bad, or just plain ugly. You remember it well because it's a big deal the first time you convince another person to do anything intimate with you. Okay, now imagine that instead of clumsily checking her coin return for a nickel, you're 100% inside of her panties for an entire fucking day. Without a leprechaun, Bill will never be able to recreate that. No woman on earth could recreate that. He will never find something even close to that on this mortal coil, regardless of whom he ends up with. The rest of his life will be wearing those rose-colored nostalgic glasses, wondering why even the kinkiest sex can't satisfy him. Naturally, the closest he'll ever get is spending the rest of his life with the normal-sized vagina that he had the experience with. So lock it down immediately, because right now she's just a high school cheerleader who hasn't experienced anything life has to offer, and everything looks great compared to the clumsy jock fingering she's used to. Either that or Chrissy didn't have a breathable cotton panel that day, and Bill didn't get enough oxygen, and his dead brain cells are now in the driver's seat for the rest of his life. Alright, let's finish this fucking thing. So the two get married. Tony kidnaps Chrissy, some mustached horseman magically appears, Bill and Tony have a shish kebab battle, Tony is chased off by a terrible special effect that's supposed to be a swarm of hornets, and our two newlyweds ride off together on horseback. And we're still not done yet. At the seedy hotel honeymoon suite, Miami Mice confronts Bill about his drug smuggling based off of the flimsiest hearsay evidence, and he confesses the whole leprechaun story. Naturally, nobody believes him. They then find a non-alcoholic bottle of booze, and the two cops leave. Bill cracks open the bottle and...
Top of the evening to you.
And we roll the credits. Oh, boy. And then like half of the credits are fake pun names like Jack Hoffman, Richard P. Nuss, Richard Gisberter, Sven Kurtite, Harry Balzac, David Dieldo, Hans Job, and Shove It Upper-ass. Oh, and we mustn't forget spiritual guidance from Guru Ram a Corncob Up Her Butt. As I've said before, this is the weirdest trauma flick I've seen so far because it's pretty fucking tame. There's an expectation of some extreme cinema, and for the most part, trauma delivers on those expectations. Even if the movie's bad, it's usually worth it. This one? Other than the shrinking segment, it was really kind of lacking. The acting was cringy, the special effects were pretty special, and the music was a fucking travesty. But you know what? There's kind of a stupid, endearing charm about this one. I mean, accidental incidents aside, it was kind of nice having a nerdy hero who wasn't a total sex fiend or gushing with the typical 80s misogyny. Even when trapped inside of Chrissy's panties, all he was trying to do was get out of them without causing any issues. He never gets laid, and every gross situation was basically not his fault. By way of 80s and 90s teen sex comedies, this one's really kind of unique. Well, if nothing else, this one has reminded me to take my recyclables out to the curb. So, until I greet you again, this is your old pal Sugar Pants.
Hey there, boyo! Don't you be throwing me wee little arse in the bin now.
Are we really going to do this one?
You gotta make one wish so that I'll be free once again. Come on, laddie. What's your heart's content now?
Anything?
Anything, me boyo.
Okay. I wish to become the greatest trashy movie presenter that ever existed.
Ah, too easy, lad. Hexiter flexiter, me my mo mal. Make this clown bastard the belle of the ball.
Well, until next time, unpleasant dreams.
Chrissy!
Shut up, you little son of a bitch!
Chrissy!